Hey everyone, my name is Chloe and today I'm here to do my July in and out. So if you've not seen one of these videos, what I do is at the end of every month-ish, I talk about all the books that came into my house this month and all the books that I'm sending out. So I have a goal of reading books off my shelf. So then these are the books that I've read. So this will be more of a curated shelf of books that I actually really enjoy and that I can unhaul the ones and kind of weed out the ones that I don't love. So this month, I'm getting rid of a few, but I brought in a lot. And I'm looking at the stack and I'm not sure even how it happened, except that my kids and I have been going to the library every week. After gymnastics, the library's on the way home. So we pick up the books that we have on hold, return books, and I cannot help myself from going in the library bookstore because everything there, paperbacks are $1 and hardbacks are $2, and they have good stuff in there. I don't know where they get this stuff, but they have good stuff in there. And my kids really love looking around in there. They have puzzles. They have everything. So we are going in there weekly. And I think that is a big problem for me. So let's just get into the haul. So first, I'm going to talk about I got a couple middle grade or YA. So the first I got one middle grade. And this is Lety Out Loud. And this is by Angela Cervantes, maybe. This one, so our library has a really cool program where if you read, for every 6 read-alouds that you do as a family, you get a free book. And so up to a certain amount of books. So we, as you guys know, read tons of read-alouds. And there's caveats of that. It's got to be over 100 pages or something like that. And so then you call them and say, hey, here's another title to add to our list. And then you get to pick books. And so we picked one book. We can pick quite a few, but she said they're going to refresh after the summer reading challenge is over, and so we just picked this one because this is about Lety Munoz. Her first language is Spanish, and she really likes writing and taking her time to kind of think out words, and so she is asked to write animal profiles for an animal shelter and to try to get these animals adopted. And then another boy, I think, classmate Hunter, also wants to write animal profiles. So he devises a competition, and they are trying to see whose animals get adopted first. And it just sounds really cute. My kids are really into animals, and in fact, we're about to go to a dog show right now, and so they are, I think they'll really like this. This doesn't have a ton of pictures or anything, so I don't know that we'll read this super soon. It does have all of their little animal profiles, and so that's cute, but I think we'll probably save this for another year or two, but sounds really cute. Then we've got 2 YA books. So I have Letters to the Lost by Brigid Kemmerer. And you guys, these books are in perfect condition. And I paid $1 for this. And this one is one that I've heard about a girl, Juliet is her name. She has lost her mother, and that is not a buzzword for me, but it's kind of a buzzword for me because I'm immediately emotionally attached because I have 3 little girls, and what would happen if they lost me and if I couldn't be here, and it just is, I'm immediately emotionally invested. And so she writes her mom letters and leaves them on her gravestone, and then somebody starts writing back, and it's a boy named Declan, and so I think it's their relationship through that. I've heard great things, and it's kind of a big one, but it says, can you fall in love with someone you've never met? So a YA romance, which is really what I need right now. Just even though this is a heavier topic, generally the writing is a little more simplistic, and I feel like I need that right now. So there's that. And then not in the same vein at all is Dear Martin by Nick Stone. So this is a short one, and this is really heavy, hard hitting about police brutality in America. And this is about this young boy named Justice who is bound for the Ivy Leagues, and yet he is targeted by the police, and he's writing a journal or something to Martin Luther King about the state of the world. And I have heard amazing things about this, and so I found it for $1 and had to pick it up. So those are the YA middle grades that I got. Now let's get into the stack of adults books. First are my book of the month books. And some months I've been skipping lately, and I feel good about that. And then some months I get 3. this was a month that I got 3. So I got Hello Stranger by Katherine Center. This one I have already read and loved, and it's about a woman who, she's a portrait artist, and so she draws people for a living, and she wakes up from this event, and she has face blindness. They don't know if it's temporary, if it's permanent, but basically the way it manifests itself is that if she looks at somebody's face, all she can see is pixels. Like she can't, or her brain cannot organize that it's a face or who it is. So she doesn't recognize anybody. And this is really good. It's kind of a love triangle. I would argue that it's not, and I felt like this was exactly what I need when I read this, and so I really, really enjoyed it. Katherine Center does generally pretty clean, pretty sweet romances, and this one is, it's a great mix. All of her books really are a great mix of women's fiction and romance, and this one was no different. I thought it was cute and charming, and you kind of have to suspend your disbelief because we take this face blindness thing to a very literal extreme. But I thoroughly enjoyed this and would highly recommend. And then my other book of the months I have not read. So it is The 5-Star Weekend by Elin Hilderbrand. So my good friend Bree Hill from, she's Bree Unabashedly on Instagram, but she used to have YouTube. A lot of you guys know her. She was like, should I buy the new Elin Hilderbrand? And I was like, well, it just showed up at my door, so yes. And so I kind of peer pressured her into buying it, which means I really need to read this. This is about a woman who, I think her life seems picture perfect. She's the creator of a popular food blog, and she's married to a dreamy heart surgeon, but then he gets in a car accident and killed. And I think goes to Nantucket, and she hears something called a 5-Star Weekend, and basically it is when you kind of bring back a friend or something, organizes it, a trip for her best friend from each phase of her life, her teenage years, her 20s, her 30s, and midlife. She decides to host her own on Nantucket. So it doesn't turn out like a joyful Hallmark movie. Like, I can only imagine, I'm in my 30s now, but I can only imagine if like people or things from my teens and my 20s all came together in my life now. And I can just imagine that it would be entertaining, to say the least. So this sounds really fun. Elin Hilderbrand writes, like, you can always count on her for summer Nantucket fiction, and I am hoping to read this summer, but if I don't, I'm perfectly okay with reading this later in the year too, because I get like Nantucket, for some reason Nantucket in the fall also sounds really charming, and like reading about it, I don't know, I'm weird, so I don't mind when I read this, but I do want to read it soon. And then the other book of the month that I chose is Riley Sager's the only one left. And this one is about a woman who I believe her entire family was killed in a murder situation. And she was not killed, and she was accused of it. I don't think she was ever convicted. And it says, let's see, at 17, Lenora Hope Gosh, it's black font on this blue thing, and I cannot read it. At 17, Lenora Hope hung her sister with a rope, stabbed her father with a knife, took her mother's happy life. It wasn't me, Lenora said, but she's the only one not dead. So there's that like chant of people thinking that she did it. And then I think now, so this was in 1929, and then 1983, a home health aide is there to like take care of her now that she's an older lady. And she wants to, I think, confess her story, but she can only communicate by tapping out sentences on a typewriter. So sounds really creepy. I don't know. I have heard mixed results on this, so mostly positive things. And Riley Sager, I have not read his backlist. Like, I've read a couple of his backlists, but I don't have strong opinions either way. So I'm excited to try it. It sounds intriguing. Okay, so now we get into the stack. One is from the publisher. The rest of this is not. It is from the bookstore. So let's just get into it. So first is Kristy Woodson Harvey, A Slightly South of Simple. So Kristy Woodson Harvey is kind of a middle-of-the-road author for me. I don't love her stuff, but I generally enjoy it, some more than others. And this one sounds like my cup of tea. It is about this woman who goes back. She lived in New York City or whatever and said she would never go back to her hometown, but then she decides to go back to her hometown after life kind of knocks her down, and her two sisters decide to join. And so it's her mom and her three girls, and what happens there, I don't really know. And the mom is named Ansley, which I'm guessing is Ansley maybe. And my daughter is Ainsley, Ainsley. And she gets called Ansley a lot. And so this one I think I will definitely, because it's like a pet peeve of mine. So this one I think I will definitely have to read with my eyes, because an audiobook of somebody saying Ansley all the time might make me nuts. So yeah, but it sounds good. 3 girls. I've got 3 girls. Instantly relatable. Next is one that I'm a little not sure why I bought it, but you guys maybe cheer me on. The Awakening by Nora Roberts. So this is book 1 in her Dragonheart Legacy. So this is Nora Roberts' fantasy series. And truthfully, I've heard people talk about this in a way that's really intriguing to me. The back does not sound that intriguing, but the fact that Nora Roberts is a romance author that I have known and loved makes me more open to try this. So this says there's a portal between 2 worlds, and one woman is the bridge between them. In the realm of Talum, a teenage warrior named Keegan emerges from a lake holding a sword representing both power and the terrifying responsibility to protect the Fae. In another realm known as Philadelphia, a young woman has just discovered she possesses a treasure of her own, and when she spends a portion of it to search for her long-lost father in Ireland, she'll stumble into a world of magic and find a destiny she never knew she had. So this is a chunker, and it is a series, and so I'm like a little bit unsure why about this, except curiosity. Like I said, I've heard people talk about it in a way that sounds good, even though it sounds completely out of my wheelhouse. So we'll try it. Next is the one that I got from the publisher. So thank you to Forever Publishing. I got A Perfect Pairing by Sheryl Lister. So this is a second chance romance, and it says an unexpected reunion heats up the supper club. So a woman has a supper club like with her friends, and she has to work with her ex on some sort of project, and I don't know, sounds cute. Sounds like kind of brain candy, just kind of mindless reading, and I'm okay with that. Next is some Jodi Picoult. So Jodi, somebody went into our library bookstore and donated like Jodi's entire backlist. And so my phone was not working that day. Like my Wi-Fi was not working. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to buy them all. They're $1. If I have them already, I can either swap out copies or whatever, or put them on Pango, whatever, share them with people who need them. And so I got The Pact, which is one that I have already read. And this is about teenagers in a suicide pact, and it is impactful for sure. Heartbreaking, friendships ripped apart by inconceivable violence. Until the phone calls came at 3 a.m. on November morning, the Golds and their neighbors, the Harts, had been inseparable. It was no surprise to anyone when their teenage children, Chris and Emily, slowly began showing their signs that their relationship was moving beyond friends, So now these 2 kids are, I believe, dead. And what happened? I don't know. So this one, like I said, it's typical Jodi, really hard-hitting, really intense, but I enjoyed it. Then we have one that I have not read, and it is Picture Perfect. This is one of the few that I have not read, so I'm a little nervous. But this is about, to the outside world, they seem to have it all. Cassie, a renowned anthropologist, which is interesting, and Alex, a hot actor, they met in Africa, and then they fell in love, get married, and then they go back to California, and something altered the picture of their perfect marriage. A frightening pattern took shape, a cycle of hurt, denial, and promises, thinly veiled by glamour. So we get, I'm guessing it's domestic abuse. We get faced with, can she leave? Will she leave? I just trust Jodi with all storylines, and so I'm excited to read this one. And then the last Jodi is Leaving Time, and I have read this one, and this is about a mother and daughter who were in a car wreck, and I think the mother went missing, and now it's many years later, and the daughter is trying to figure out what happened. And yeah, really good book. So that one's not my favorite Jodi, but I am happy to have like all of her collection because I'm a Jodi lover, and I don't know. Then we have another one that I have read, and this is Apples Never Fall by Liane Moriarty. So I'm kind of, I think, in the minority on this one. It's kind of a chunky book. I have read this one, and it is just about like family drama, which, you guys, I love it. So this is, the dad goes missing, and I think it's 4 or 5 kids or something. And it's a tennis-based book, so they own a tennis academy, and tennis is like number one in their family. Like, I almost see as Venus and Serena, like their kind of family situation. The Delaney's are fixtures. The parents, Stan and Joy, are the envy of all their friends. After 50 years of marriage, they finally sold their famed tennis academy and are ready to start what should be their golden years. So why are they so miserable? One night, a stranger named Savannah knocks on Stan and Joy's door, bleeding after a fight with her boyfriend. The Delaney's are more than happy to give her the small kindness she sorely needs. But when Joy goes missing, the mom is missing, maybe. Okay. Savannah, let's see. When Savannah's nowhere to be found and the police question Stan. 2 of the Delaney children think their father's innocent. 2 are not so sure. It's been a long time since I read this, but I enjoyed it. And so I'm excited to have a copy. And then we've got Shades of Blue by Karen Kingsbury. So Karen Kingsbury is a Christian fiction author, and this one is about a man who I think seems to have it all together and have like this picture-perfect life. That seems to be a theme of this haul. And he is about to get married, I think, and then he realizes, like, God tells him he needs to make amends to his high school sweetheart for something. And so, I don't know. I really enjoy Karen Kingsbury. This will be sweet, and it's generally pretty quick reads, and so for $1, I will try it. The next one is books 2 and 3 in, let's see, what's the series called? Annie's People. So I bought the first one a while ago, and I'm honestly not even sure what this series is about. Beverly Lewis is another Christian fiction author, and this is an Amish series. So number 2 is The Englisher. Number 3 is The Brethren. And I've got number 1 on my shelf, so I figured I might as well have 2 and 3 in great condition for $1 in case I really like it. Because sometimes I get in the mood for these wholesome Amish books, and I don't have many, so now I do. And then last, I think, of my haul is The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. So this is one of my all-time favorite thrillers, I would call domestic dramas, and they had a copy, and so I did not have a copy. So for $1, this was like a major score. So this is about 2 sisters, one of which has some intellectual special needs. I don't know if it says autism, but it kind of alludes to the fact that she's on the spectrum somewhere. Like I said, I don't know if it says that explicitly. The other sister is having fertility issues, and there's a lot of sister dynamics, a lot of drama, and so good. And this cover, like her peering through the window, so good. So that is everything that I'm hauling. Now let's get into the unhauls. She's a much smaller stack. So that's okay. It's okay. So Sorry Not Sorry by Sophie Ranald. This is the first one. I tried to read this for the catch-up-a-thon, and it is a women's fiction about this woman. She lives with 2 of her best friends who are a man and woman who are engaged, and so now they are moving on, and she's kind of left behind, and she starts following this podcast called Sorry Not Sorry, and it's kind of about putting yourself out there. So she starts following these rules, and I just wasn't invested. I read almost half of it, and I was not into it, so it's going to go. Next is the only Jodi that I already had, which is Mercy. And this is a mass market copy. And so this one is about Police Chief Cameron McDonald makes the toughest arrest of his life when his own cousin Jamie comes to him and confesses outright that he has killed his terminally ill wife out of mercy. I'm going to leave it there. Like I said, I have a copy. So this one, I really don't like reading mass market paperbacks, and so I will pass this on to somebody else. And then these last 3, I have an extensive nonfiction shelf upstairs that is books that I haven't read, that some of them are kind of like self-helpy, and these 3 are all marriage-related books that I got around the time I got married, and I just am like, we're in a spot that's fine. That's not going to be a priority right now. Like, I mean, reading a book about marriage is just not where I'm going to be, because we're doing as much as we can to work on our marriage, given the fact that we have 3 little kids. And so it is what it is. And so we've got The Argument-Free Marriage by Fawn Weaver. And I don't think I've read this. This is 28 Days to Creating the Marriage You've Always Wanted with the Spouse You Already Have. And I think I've read part of this, if not all of it. Then we have Love, Sex, and Lasting Relationships by Chip Ingram. I really like Chip Ingram and his Bible studies and his stuff. And again, I've read part of this. And then The Husband Project, 21 Days of Loving Your Man on Purpose and with a Plan. And so this is, I think, different ways of like praying for your husband and stuff. So I have read parts of all these, gleaned enough out of it, and now I'm going to let them go. Sorry, husband. So that is everything for this month. So If you have read any of the books that I'm hauling, let me know which ones I need to prioritize. If you're interested in any of these that I'm unhauling, they'll be on my Pango bookstore, which is always linked down below. And that is it. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.